They gave my inheritance to my sister, but what my grandparents planned next left everyone speechless. Like, share and subscribe to see the full truth. I'm a 28-year-old guy from a family with a long, messy history of favoritism. My younger sister, Chloe, 25, has always been the favorite, especially of my dad, Nathan. This favoritism started when we were kids and only got worse as we grew up. Chloe was the golden child from my earliest memories. When I was 5 and she was 2, our parents, Nathan and Lisa, threw her an elaborate birthday party with professional face painters, a bouncy castle, and a petting zoo. For my birthday that same year, I got a store-bought cake and a small family dinner. That set the tone for years to come. As we got older, the differences became starker. Chloe always got the newest toys, the best clothes, and the most attention. I remember saving months of allowance for a new bike when I was 10. When Chloe saw it, she threw a fit, wanting one too. Instead of teaching her about saving or waiting, my parents went out and bought her an even nicer bike than mine. School was another area where the bias was clear. My parents attended all of Chloe's school events but usually missed mine. In 4th grade, I had a lead role in the school play and practiced for weeks, buzzing with excitement. On the night of the play, my parents showed up an hour late, missing my big scene because they were consoling Chloe over a stomachache. She was fine later, they had just lost track of time playing with her. Academically, nothing I did ever seemed good enough. I joined the math club, got straight A's in middle school, and even took first place in a regional science fair, but my parents barely noticed. When Chloe got a B+ on a test in her weakest subject, they threw her a celebratory dinner and bought her a new phone to encourage her to keep improving. High school was tough. I threw myself into every activity I could, maintained a 4.0 GPA, and became editor of the school newspaper and captain of the debate team. Chloe coasted through school, barely holding a C average, and spent most of her time hanging out with friends. In my junior year, I was one of 2 students chosen from our university to attend a prestigious summer program at Harvard, an incredible honor that thrilled me. When I shared the news at dinner, my dad, Nathan, grumbled and changed the subject to Chloe's upcoming dance recital. My mom, Lisa, said, "That's nice," but quickly moved on. They couldn't drive me to the airport because Chloe's recital was the same day, so I got a ride from a friend's parents. The college application process was another painful experience. I spent months perfecting my essays, piling on extracurriculars, and prepping for the SAT. Several elite colleges accepted me, and I earned a sizable scholarship to my dream school. When I told my parents at dinner, their reaction was lukewarm. "That's good, but don't let it go to your head," Nathan said. "Colleges and all. Just remember us when you're off becoming a big shot," Lisa added. Meanwhile, when Chloe barely graduated high school and chose not to go to college, they praised her for knowing herself and defying societal expectations, something they never did for me. They even bought her a car as a graduation gift. Emotionally, this constant favoritism hit me hard through my teens and early 20s. I struggled with anxiety and depression, starting therapy in college. I realized my parents' actions weren't my fault, but it took years to build my self-esteem and learn to validate myself instead of chasing their approval. Despite my family, I built a solid life. By the time I graduated college with honors, I had a good job in finance and bought my own house by 27. I'm proud of what I've achieved, even if my parents aren't. Here's where the drama starts. My grandfather on my dad's side, Robert, passed away recently. He was a successful businessman who built his wealth from nothing, and he left a sizable estate. In his will, he divided his assets equally among his grandchildren, me, Chloe, and our cousins, and his children, including Nathan and his siblings. My share was significant, about $500,000, enough to pay off my student loans, invest in my future, and maybe even start my own company someday. This unexpected windfall and the opportunities it offered excited me. But when the will was read, my parents were visibly upset. Later, they pulled me aside and said they thought it was unfair that I got an equal share. Chloe, who lives in their basement and works part-time at a coffee shop, needed the money more because she was struggling. Stunned, I tried to stay calm. I explained that Grandpa made this decision, and they had no say in it. They insisted I should do the right thing and give Chloe my share. When I refused, they got angry and started guilt-tripping me, calling me ungrateful and selfish. Nathan brought up every instance he could remember where they'd helped me, like paying for my medically necessary braces, buying school supplies, the bare minimum, and letting me live at home during college. He conveniently forgot the car they bought Chloe, her shopping sprees, and the fact that they still support her at 25. Things escalated quickly. As the will's executor, Nathan decided to handle things himself. He announced he'd reinterpret Grandpa's intentions and give my entire share to Chloe, claiming Grandpa would have wanted it if he'd known our unique situation. I was devastated, not just by the obvious illegality, but by how little my parents valued me. I tried reasoning with them, pointing out that Grandpa always treated all his grandchildren equally and knew our circumstances. Lisa accused me of speaking ill of the dead by suggesting Grandpa would have wanted anything other than what Nathan was pushing. I brought up memories of Grandpa supporting my academic and career goals, but they dismissed them as misinterpretations. They claimed Grandpa was privately worried about Chloe's future and wanted to ensure she was taken care of. When I asked why he didn't write the will that way, they had no answer. Chloe, for her part, was awkward about the situation but didn't challenge our parents. She just shrugged and said, "Mom and Dad know best," when I tried to talk to her alone. She clearly wasn't going to help. Feeling betrayed and hurt, I turned to Grandpa's widow, my grandma, Evelyn, for guidance. When she heard what was happening, she was furious. She told me my parents had no authority to change the will and that this was the opposite of what Grandpa intended. Evelyn revealed that years ago, Nathan and Lisa had asked Grandpa to leave everything to Chloe in his will. Grandpa firmly refused, insisting all his grandchildren should be treated equally. He even added a clause to his will stating that anyone challenging the equal distribution would forfeit their share. Armed with this, I confronted my parents. Evelyn's revelation about their earlier attempt to sway the will caught them off guard. Nathan tried to justify it, saying they were just looking out for Chloe's future, but I could see the guilt on their faces. Evelyn acted fast. She contacted the will's other executor, an attorney, and Nathan's siblings, who were equally outraged at what he was trying to pull. Together, they shut down Nathan's plan and ensured the will was executed as written. My parents, though upset with me, had to back off. They argued I should have kept this in-house instead of involving others and accused me of turning the family against them. Lisa cried about how I'd torn the family apart and betrayed them. I told them I'd never expected anything from them anyway. Nathan threatened to cut me out of their will entirely if I accepted the inheritance and even said I wouldn't be welcome in their house if I took it. In a low blow, Lisa claimed my accepting the money showed I never really loved them and was just waiting to profit from their deaths. The situation has divided the extended family. Some of my cousins support me, understanding the long-standing favoritism and appreciating that I stood up for myself. Others think I should have given in to keep the peace, saying family harmony matters more than money. Nathan's siblings are firmly on my side, but this has strained their relationship with my parents. Chloe's caught in the middle. She privately told me she feels bad and didn't ask for this, but she's not ready to challenge our parents. She's been conditioned her whole life to rely on them and seek their approval, so I don't entirely blame her. Still, part of me wishes she'd stand up for me just once. This situation has stirred up a lot of old pain and resentment. I keep replaying all the times I was overlooked or dismissed in favor of Chloe, the birthdays I missed out on, the school events my parents skipped, the achievements that went unnoticed. This feels like a lifetime of unfairness coming to a head. Despite the family rift, I'm standing my ground and plan to take my inheritance as Grandpa intended. My parents barely speak to me, and family gatherings have become awkward. I skipped our monthly family dinner last week for the first time ever because I couldn't handle the cold shoulders and accusing glares. Amid the chaos, a small part of me feels empowered. For the first time, I'm confronting my parents' unfair treatment and asserting my worth, refusing to be dismissed. It's both painful and liberating. Though I believe I'm in the right, the family drama is exhausting, and I've started having anxiety attacks again, something I haven't dealt with since college. I'm considering going back to therapy to manage the stress. Am I wrong for refusing to meet my parents' expectations and accepting my inheritance? Should I have just given Chloe the money to keep the peace? I'm tired of being the family scapegoat, but I also fear losing my family entirely. Any advice or perspective would be appreciated. Update: 6 months have passed since my first post, and a lot has happened. Thanks to everyone for your support and advice, it really kept me strong during a tough time. Let's start with the legal side. Many of you suggested I get my own lawyer, and I did. He confirmed I had every right to my inheritance and that Nathan's actions were indeed illegal. He helped me document everything and prepare for legal action if needed. Luckily, it didn't come to that. Evelyn, along with Nathan's siblings and the attorney, sorted things out without going to court. I received my full inheritance, and the will was executed exactly as Grandpa intended. Because of his attempt to manipulate the will, Nathan was removed as executor. It was a grueling process that took weeks, tense meetings, angry phone calls, but the law was clear, and my parents had to back down. The family fallout has been significant and is still ongoing. At first, Nathan and Lisa doubled down, accusing me of being greedy and neglectful of Chloe. They tried to rally other family members against me, spreading claims that I'd somehow manipulated Grandpa into giving me money. Fortunately, most of the family saw through their tactics. About a month after the will was finalized, there was a particularly ugly incident at a family gathering. My aunt was hosting, and Nathan and Lisa showed up uninvited. They caused a scene, yelling about how I'd stolen from Chloe and turned Evelyn against them. Nathan started ranting about how I'd ruined all these wonderful memories. Lisa threw an old photo album at my feet. It was awkward and awful, and it took several relatives to calm things down and get my parents to leave. Bless her heart, Evelyn has been my biggest ally through all this. She shared stories about how Grandpa was always proud of my achievements and specifically wanted to ensure all his grandchildren had equal opportunities. She even revealed that Grandpa kept a scrapbook of my accomplishments, newspaper clippings of my academic awards, copies of my college acceptance letters, and even the program from that fourth-grade play Nathan and Lisa were late for. This was both heartwarming and heartbreaking. Evelyn also took it upon herself to set the record straight with the extended family. She held a family meeting, excluding my parents, and laid out the full history of their favoritism, including incidents I'd forgotten or never knew about. Having someone finally acknowledge the unfairness I'd faced for years was validating, but it also reopened old wounds. As for Chloe, she finally found her voice. She came to me privately and apologized for not standing up for me sooner. After some soul-searching and long talks with Evelyn, she admitted that our parents' favoritism was wrong but said she'd been too scared to confront it. We talked at length about our childhood and how it affected us both, and it was an intense, emotional conversation. Chloe confessed that being the favorite wasn't as great as it seemed. She never learned to stand on her own and felt immense pressure to meet our parents' expectations. She shared stories of times she wanted to achieve things independently, but Nathan and Lisa would swoop in and handle everything, robbing her of the chance to grow. This conversation was a turning point for our relationship. We've started rebuilding the sibling bond our parents' favoritism fractured. We've been meeting regularly for coffee to talk and support each other through this family mess. Chloe shocked everyone by announcing she'd use her inheritance to pay for college. She said watching me stand up for myself inspired her to take control of her own life. She enrolled in a local community college, planning to transfer to a 4-year university once she figures out what she wants to study. Nathan and Lisa were stunned. I think they realized their coddling hadn't done her any favors. My parents' reactions have been mixed and evolving. At first, they lashed out at both of us, trying to guilt Chloe into dropping out of college to help the family, claiming I'd turned her against them. When that didn't work, they shifted tactics. After several long talks with Evelyn and seeing Chloe's transformation, Lisa started to acknowledge how harmful their actions were. She's made tentative steps toward reconciliation, even starting therapy to work through her issues. She reached out to apologize, admitting she'd been unfair and asking for a chance to make things right. It's a slow process, and while I'm cautiously optimistic, I'm keeping firm boundaries. Sadly, Nathan's been less willing to own up to his mistakes. He's still angry, acting like the victim, and barely speaks to me. He's been cold toward Chloe since she started college and has tried to manipulate us a few times, threatening to sell our childhood home unless we come to our senses or forgive him. It hurts to see him push both his kids away, but we're both standing firm. The extended family dynamics have shifted significantly. I've grown closer to Nathan's siblings, who've been very supportive, and I've learned from my aunts and uncles about dealing with his difficult behavior over the years, which has made me feel less alone. I've also built stronger bonds with some cousins who stood by me, and we've started a monthly cousin dinner to catch up without the older generation's drama. As for me, I've been using my inheritance wisely. I paid off my student loans, which has given me incredible financial freedom. Working with a financial advisor, I've built a diversified investment portfolio and set aside funds to potentially start my own business down the line. I'm exploring opening a community center with affordable mental health services and financial literacy workshops. But the most meaningful use of the money has been paying for therapy for myself and offering to do the same for Chloe. We're both learning to set healthy boundaries with our parents and heal from our childhood. It's a long road, but I already feel like I'm growing in ways I never thought possible, overcoming emotional neglect and years of favoritism. This whole ordeal has brought unexpected positive changes to my life. I've learned a lot about setting boundaries and standing up for myself. Though it hasn't been easy and there are still tough days, I'm proud of myself for resisting guilt and pressure. One of the most surprising outcomes has been a shift in my career path. Dealing with this family conflict and going through therapy has shown me how passionate I am about helping others who've faced similar family dynamics. I'm considering going back to school to specialize in counseling adult children of emotionally immature parents and becoming a family therapist. I've also started volunteering at a local youth center, supporting kids from tough family situations. Being able to offer the kind of encouragement I wish I'd had as a kid is incredibly fulfilling. I'm even thinking about creating a scholarship fund for kids from similar backgrounds using part of my inheritance. My relationship with Chloe keeps improving. Once a month, we have a siblings day where we do something fun together, just the two of us. Last month's hike and picnic was the most relaxed and connected we've felt since we were kids. Without our parents' influence, we're slowly rebuilding our bond on our own terms. Things with my parents are still complicated. Lisa's trying to rebuild our relationship, attending therapy regularly and starting to see the damage her favoritism caused. We've had a few one-on-one lunches where we've had honest, tough conversations about our past and where we're headed. It's not perfect, but there's progress. Nathan, though, still resists change, insisting he did nothing wrong and that Chloe and I should be grateful. He refuses to be in the same room as me, so he's missed several family events. It hurts, but I'm working on letting go of my need to make him see things differently or control his reactions. Evelyn has been a rock for both Chloe and me. She shared more stories about Grandpa and his pride in us for standing up for ourselves. She's a fierce advocate for fairness and understanding, and she's been an amazing mediator in family conflicts. This whole experience has taught me a lot about what family really means. I've realized that sometimes the family you choose can be more supportive than the one you were born into. I've grown closer to my aunts, uncles, and cousins who stood by me, and I've built a tight-knit circle of friends who've been incredibly supportive through this. Setting boundaries and prioritizing self-care have become essential. I'm getting better at saying no to situations that harm my mental health and no longer feel guilty about putting my well-being first. I was so caught up in chasing my parents' approval that I'd put off exploring new interests and hobbies. To anyone in a similar situation, I'd say, don't let anyone make you feel guilty for claiming what's rightfully yours, even if it causes conflict. It's okay to stand up for yourself. Family dynamics can be messy, but you deserve fair treatment. It's never too late to start building the life you deserve. Seek therapy if you need it, surround yourself with supportive people, and don't be afraid to set boundaries. Your worth isn't defined by how your family treats you, but by who you are. Thanks again to everyone for your advice and encouragement. It meant more than you know during a really tough time. Though the journey hasn't been easy, I'm excited about the future and feel a confidence I haven't had in years. I'm eager to see where this new chapter leads and determined to break the cycle of favoritism and build healthier relationships in my own future family. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.